right now, something is happening that only comes around once every 4 years. Billions of people have stopped everything. Offices are quiet. Streets are empty. Families are gathered around screens. And for the next few weeks, the entire planet has one question on its mind. Who will win? The 2026 FIFA World Cup is here. The biggest, loudest, most unpredictable sporting event on Earth. And today, we are going to answer that question, but not the way you expect. Because today, we are looking at it through the eyes of one man. A man who has played heroes, who has defeated impossible odds on screen. A man who, as it turns out, has a very personal connection to this exact tournament. His name is Keanu Reeves. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly who he would pick to win this World Cup. And more importantly, why that prediction actually makes a terrifying amount of sense. Stay with us. This story is just getting started. Before we talk about the World Cup, we need to talk about Keanu. Most people see him as Neo, as John Wick, as the quiet, unbreakable man who walks into impossible situations and somehow comes out the other side. But here is what most people do not know. Off-screen, Keanu Reeves is Canadian, not just on paper, not just by passport. He is Canadian in every way that matters. He was born in Beirut, Lebanon. His father was Hawaiian Chinese. His mother was English. He moved around as a child, Australia and New York, until finally, at around the age of 7, he arrived in Toronto. And that is where everything changed. Toronto became his home, his city, the place that shaped him into who he is. He went to school there. He played hockey in the streets there. He fell in love with sports there. He dreamed there. In fact, when he was accepted into Canada's Walk of Fame in 2021, Keanu stood on that stage and said something that stopped the entire room. He said, "I would not be here if not for where I came from. Not Hollywood, not Beirut, not any movie set or studio lot. Toronto." And here's the thing that makes all of this relevant to the World Cup. Toronto is a host city for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Think about that for a second. The biggest sporting event on Earth is being played in Keanu Reeves' backyard. When he was a kid, he played hockey in the parks near Yorkville. He delivered newspapers on the streets of downtown Toronto. He ate at the local diners, rode the TTC, and watched sports with his friends. And now, those same streets are packed with fans from every corner of the world. Those same parks are buzzing with energy. His city is the center of the universe right now. This is not just a global event for Keanu. This one is personal. And that changes everything about how he would look at this tournament. Now, let us set the scene. This is not just any World Cup. This is the biggest World Cup in the history of football. For the very first time ever, 48 nations are competing. Not 32, 48. Spread across the United States, Mexico, and Canada. 104 matches, 16 stadiums, millions of fans. This tournament is a monster. And the question everyone wants answered is almost impossible to answer, because here is the brutal truth. Nobody knows who is going to win. Not the experts, not the analysts, not the supercomputers, not the betting markets. Every single model, every data scientist, every football mind on the planet, they are all split. They are all watching, and they are all slightly nervous. Because with 48 teams, the upsets are coming, the chaos is coming, and the story of this World Cup is already writing itself in ways nobody predicted. So, how do you pick a winner in a tournament this wild? You think like Keanu. You sit down, you clear your head, you remove the emotion, and you look at the facts, one team at a time. So that is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to count them down. One by one, we are going to eliminate the pretenders. And we are going to find the one team that stands above all the rest. Let's start the countdown. The easy pick, the emotional pick, will be to back the host nations. Canada, the United States, Mexico, home crowd, home energy, home pressure. And Keanu, as a proud Canadian, his heart would pull hard in this direction. Imagine it, the World Cup in Toronto, Canada lifting the trophy on home soil. It would be the greatest sports moment in Canadian history. But here's where Keanu's mind, The same mind that trained for John Wick, that studied every move before executing, kicks in. Because the heart is not always right. The numbers do not lie. The prediction markets right now have the United States sitting at just 1.5% chance of winning this tournament. Canada is even lower. Mexico, not much better. The host nations have the crowd. They have the noise. They have the passion. But they do not have the squad. Not yet. And Keanu, the man who has played the most disciplined characters in cinema history, would never bet his pick on emotion alone. So the host nations are out. Cross them off the list. The real story starts now. Two names, two giants, two nations that have defined World Cup football for generations, Argentina and Brazil. Let us start with Argentina, the defending champions, the team that made the whole world cry in Qatar. Lionel Messi, the greatest of all time, the man who finally got his hands on a one trophy that had escaped him his entire career. The passion behind this team is unlike anything else in world football. When Argentina plays, a billion hearts beat faster. But here is the cold, hard, brutal truth about defending a World Cup. It almost never happens. No team in the modern era has successfully defended the World Cup title. Not Brazil, not Germany, not France. Nobody. And going into this tournament, Argentina are dealing with questions. Questions about form, questions about depth, questions about whether the squad, as brilliant as it is, can carry the weight of defending champions for one more month in North America. The odds say no. The history says no. Now Brazil, 5-time World Cup winners, the most successful national team in the history of the tournament. Samba football, flair, magic, the kind of team that makes you fall in love with the game. But Brazil are walking into this tournament wounded. Their key attacker Neymar is carrying a calf injury. His availability for the opening games is genuinely in doubt. And without him at full strength, Brazil's attack loses its edge. Their winger department is already stretched. Rafinha, Martinelli, they are brilliant. But brilliant is not enough when you are missing pieces and playing a 48-team tournament where anything can happen. South America remains dangerous. Do not count them out entirely, but as a reliable World Cup winner pick, right now, they are shaking. They are vulnerable. And Keanu would smell that vulnerability from a mile away. South America, under extreme pressure. The countdown continues. Now we arrive at a story that carries 60 years of pain. England, the nation that invented this game, the country that wrote the rules, built the stadiums, and gave football to the world. And yet, they have not won the World Cup since 1966. 60 years. Think about that. 60 years of heartbreak. 60 years of this is our year. 60 years of penalty shootout nightmares and last-minute collapses and moments that still make grown men look away. But this year, something feels different. England have a settled squad, a clear system. They have players who have been forged in the biggest matches in club football. They have youth and experience side by side. The pressure is enormous. It always is with England. But the betting markets have them at around 10% to win this tournament. That is third in the world. That is serious. Could this finally be the year? Could England, in a tournament hosted by their old allies across the Atlantic, finally end the hurt? Maybe. But here's the honest answer. England have been this close before. Many times. And every single time, something happens. A moment of madness. A missed penalty. A goal that should not have gone in. England are a threat. A real threat. But they are not Keanu's pick. Because Keanu does not bet on maybe. He bets on certainty. He bets on pattern. He bets on the team that walks into every match knowing, not hoping, but knowing they are better than everyone else on that pitch. England is not there yet. We are getting close now. Very close. Only 2 teams left. And this is where the story gets dangerous. Let us talk about France. France do not make noise. They do not celebrate before the final whistle. They do not boast. They do not panic. They just win. They reached the last 2 World Cup finals. They won in 2018. They fell agonizingly short in 2022. And now, in 2026, they are back, hungrier than ever. And right now, in this moment, they are ranked number one in the world by FIFA. Number one, Kylian Mbappe is at the absolute peak of his powers. This season, at club level, he has scored 42 goals. 42. That is not a footballer in form. That is a footballer in a different dimension. Around him, France have layers, experience, depth, a squad that does not have a single weak position. And here is something that should make every other team nervous. The prediction markets right now have France at 16.2% probability to win this World Cup. That is the highest of anyone. Not Spain, not England, not Argentina. France, the quiet giant at the back of the room, is actually leading the race. Keanu would feel this. He would sense it, because he has played characters who know that the most dangerous enemy is not the one making the most noise. It is the one who says nothing and then strikes. France are that enemy. France is shadow. And every other team in this tournament should be sleeping with one eye open. But here is a question that the whole world is wrestling with. Is France enough to beat the one team that every supercomputer, every model, every expert still calls the most complete side in the world right now? We have arrived at the final name on the list. Spain, reigning European champions, second in the FIFA World Rankings, built on a foundation of technical brilliance, tactical intelligence, and a golden generation that comes around maybe once in every 30 years. The Opta supercomputer ran 25,000 simulations of this World Cup. In 16.1% of them, Spain won, more than any other team. Spain are not just a good team. They are a system, a machine, a squad with so much quality that losing one player does not break them. Losing two does not break them. They move fast. They press hard. They pass with purpose. Under coach Luis de la Fuente, they play a modern, direct style that has absolutely dismantled every team they have faced in the last 2 years. When Spain walks onto pitch, they are not hoping to win. They expect to win. And that mindset, that quiet, cold, unshakable confidence, is exactly the energy of a Keanu Reeves character. John Wick does not walk into a room unsure of himself. He walks in knowing. Spain walks onto every pitch knowing. But, and this is a very important but, Spain has a crack. A real one. His name is Lamine Yamal, 18 years old, the most naturally gifted young player on the planet right now. The teenager who single-handedly lit up Euro 2024 and made the entire football world stop and stare. Yamal is the heartbeat of Spain's attack. When he runs, defenders panic. When he has the ball, anything is possible. But right now he is injured. A hamstring problem picked up at the end of the season has thrown his World Cup participation into genuine doubt. Spain are sweating. The coach is watching every training session. The whole country is holding its breath. And on the other flank, Nico Williams is also battling fitness. Think about that. Spain's two most dangerous attackers, both carrying question marks heading into the biggest tournament of their lives. If Yamal is fully fit, Spain is almost unbeatable. If Yamal is limited, Spain suddenly has a gap, a real gap, and right at the front of the line, waiting to walk straight through that gap, is France. This is the razor's edge that Keanu would study. Carefully, quietly, the way he studies every situation before making his move. Two teams, both at 16%, both capable of winning this whole thing. One has the machine, one has the hunger, and now, the moment you have been waiting for, Keanu Reeves makes his call. Think about the characters he has played across his entire career. Think about the decisions they make in the most important moments. Neo did not choose the easy path. He chose the true one. John Wick did not go after the most emotional target. He went after the most logical one. And Keanu himself, in real life, is a man who has always backed quality over hype, substance over noise, the real thing over the comfortable story. He would sit with this for a long time. He would think about Canada, his home. The joy it would bring him to see a World Cup final played in Toronto. He would feel that pull, and then he would let it go. He would look at Spain. He would look at the squad, the depth, the system, the second-ranked team in the world, the European champions, the team that has not just been good recently, but has been the best team in the world. He would look at Yamal, and he would not write him off. Because Yamal is a fighter. He is young, yes. He is injured, yes. But he will be on that pitch. Maybe not at 100% in Game 1, but he will be there. And as the tournament builds, he will grow. He would look at the machine that Spain has built around that one player. Rodri in midfield, Pedri, Gavi, Dani Olmo, a squad so deep that even when the superstar is limping, the system does not collapse. And then, quietly, calmly, with the certainty of a man who has made this exact calculation 1,000 times, Keanu picks Spain. Spain wins the 2026 World Cup. That is the prediction. But he does not say it loudly. He does not shout it. He simply nods. The way Neo nods before he steps into the fight. The way John Wick exhales before he walks through the door. Because he knows something that the rest of the world is still figuring out. Spain does not need to be perfect. They just need to be better than everyone else. And right now, even with the injuries, even with the pressure, even with France breathing down their neck, they are. But before this story ends, there is one more thing Keanu would say. A warning. Do not sleep on France. Because this is the World Cup. And the World Cup does not care about your supercomputer models or your prediction markets or your beautiful, perfectly reasoned analysis. The World Cup has a way of rewriting the story you thought you knew. France, with Mbappe at the peak of his powers, with the hunger of a team that came this close in 2022 and still feels the sting of that final. They are not here to be a subplot. They are here to be the story. And if Spain's injuries catch up to them, if Yamal cannot shake off that hamstring, if the machine stutters even once, France will be there, waiting, silent, lethal. This is the World Cup final that the numbers have already written. Spain versus France. July 19th, MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. Two European giants. Two teams built for exactly this moment. Only one trophy. And only one winner. Somewhere in the world right now, maybe in a city that looks a lot like Toronto, Keanu Reeves is watching this tournament. He is watching the goals, the saves, the tears, the celebrations. He is watching the underdog teams fight with everything they have. The giant teams prove why they were always the favorites. The moments that remind you why this game exists. Because the World Cup is not just a football tournament. It is the biggest story on earth told in 90 minutes at a time. And Keanu, the man who has lived 100 extraordinary lives on screen, understands that better than most. He knows what it feels like to be counted out, to be overlooked, to have the whole world bet against you. And he knows what it feels like to win anyway. That is why his pick is Spain. Not because the numbers say so, although they do. Not because the supercomputer says so, although it does. But because Spain has that thing. That quiet, unshakable belief. That walk into every match like they have already written the ending. Just like Keanu. So there it is. Keanu Reeves World Cup prediction. Spain lifts the trophy on July 19th. But now it is your turn. You have heard the story. You have seen the evidence. You have watched every contender get weighed, measured, and accounted for. Who do you think wins the 2026 World Cup? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. I want to see every single one. Are you riding with Spain? Or do you think France is about to pull off something historic? Maybe you are backing England to finally end 60 years of hurt. Or perhaps you believe Argentina has one more miracle left in them. Whatever you think, write it down. Because in a few weeks, we will know the answer. And if you get it right, well, even Neo will be impressed.